Hello, everybody. We are live. It is another week, and it is time for the connection ritual. What's that, you say? It is a meditation on connection and energy, a way to guide you to a shared, collective, sacred space beyond your body, beyond the touch of miles and geography, a place where we can connect no matter where we're at, whether we are isolated, whether we are simply in our room, locked away from family or annoying pets. Not that they're annoying all the time, but sometimes annoying when we try to meditate. Take a few moments to settle into your space, to set it up for 15 minutes, no more, of focus, of peace. Do a few things to separate it from how your regular space feels so that you make a transition from whatever was going on just 5 minutes ago to a more calm and focused way of being. Whether that's lighting a candle, lighting some incense, putting on certain music, or simply taking a few moments to just breathe, asking the folks you live with to be quiet just for a little while. Asking whether or not they will listen, your pets to also maybe give you a little space. Or if they're like mine, they'll wander in and participate too. It's a night where I'm thinking about pets and companion animals because someone lost one of theirs. Be present. Do what you can to focus. Don't worry about if you get distracted, but arrange your space as optimally as you can and give yourself permission to screw up. Like, you don't have to be perfect. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Really, just follow the sound of my voice. I will guide you to this. It's a place that anybody can access, and it's a place that is always there. We are always connected in thought and in dream and in emotion. You can feel it as the world in turmoil like rises and falls, and on some like quiet unconscious level we get restless, we get anxious, we don't always know why, but we can feel that sort of rising tension. Many of us felt that more than perhaps we ever had consciously when the world went into lockdown with COVID. And this is where this practice began. It's where I began doing this service to the community. And after a year, I opened it up to everyone. So I opened this ritual with the Keprian charge and the family prayer, which are part of my tradition with House Kepru. And the words may speak to you and they may not, and that's fine. I share them partly because that's how I'm accustomed to creating the container of sacred space, building a space where we have a beginning and an end, and within that, a space that we share something glorious. And like I said, those words may speak to you, and they may not, and that's fine, but I share them with you freely as a part of this practice. And we will begin at 9, top of the hour exactly. So settle in. A candle is part of the focus, but you do not need your own, especially if it's not safe where you're at. You can just use mine to focus. You can use the light in the room around you, whatever type of light you're working with. And above all, let your body be comfortable. Meditation doesn't have to be an agonizing affair where you try to clear your mind of everything. That's kind of impossible. It's less about not thinking about anything, and it's more about setting aside what distracts you. I'll help you with that too. Hopefully your week was not a terrible one. And if it was, hopefully this will bring you a little bit of peace. And I know many of you will not be able to join us live, and that's fine. This will stay up on the Facebook page, over on Instagram, and will be archived on my YouTube where you can access it whenever you want, however many times as you want. And of course, you have my full permission to share this with any group, with any friend. If it's something that you think somebody will benefit from, hit that button and let them decide for themselves.
Since we have a couple of minutes before 9 p.m.,
Yeah.
do you have any guidance for people who don't have the ability to visualize?
If you have a hard time visualizing images, like I really try to put this feel instead, if you can. I know there's a number of people who uh, can't necessarily picture images in their head, so calling it a guided visualization gets them kind of hung up on like, well, I can't visualize, so then I can't do this at all, right? No, 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 no. What do you do when you think about something? What shape does that take in your mind? If it is only a feeling, focus on the feelings. If it's a sound, what sound does connection make for you? Is it music, harmonious notes, voices, singing? If it's merely thoughts, that's fine too. It's about the focus on connecting, reaching out, and imagining what that feels like. And above all, thinking about the people you wish to connect to. And don't limit yourself. It's not simply all the people who are in bodies and all the people that you know. One of the really fun side effects about this was realizing that whether somebody's wearing skin or not, they may participate in this. So if there's a family member you haven't seen for a while because they've passed on, you have a spirit guide or companion, you have a pet that you lost, you may feel them. And it's more that feeling that you should focus on when I'm talking about this glimmering webwork of connections. It doesn't matter if you can't see it. What does that feel like? And if you still can't imagine that, try to figure out how would you experience that? If that's a real thing, what is your sense of connection? How does that manifest to you? Each of us is different. We all have a different path. Don't let the words hang you up. We can all do this. We just do it in a different shape. There's, again, no right or wrong way. So, without further ado, first, it begins with a light. We are the many born. We are the immortal. Eternal we wander the aeons, moving to the rhythm of our own inner tides. We are active elements moving through passive worlds. Endlessly we die and are reborn, changed yet unchanging through the years. We move from lifetime to lifetime, taking up bodies as garments. Ours is a journey toward understanding, and our charge is knowledge and wisdom. We are the catalysts, and as we awaken to ourselves, we serve to awaken the very world. Take a few moments to simply be present in your body, wherever you're at, however you are arranged, standing, sitting, lying down. Check in with yourself. How do you feel? What is your flesh telling you? What are you experiencing in this moment right now? And what's distracting you? Whatever those distractions are, rather than trying to push them away or suppress them or grab onto them and examine them, what you want to do, what I'd like you to do, look at them, acknowledge them, and just set them aside. Let them pass over where you're not paying direct attention to them. Just shift your focus away. They're not gone. It's okay if you're still aware of them in the background. But acknowledge and set them aside. And settle into your body and feel it from head to toe. And relax into that. And then next, check in with how you feel here and here. And again, if there's turmoil, if there are distractions, if there's anything that you're carrying from the previous week, from today, don't try to push it away or control it or repress it. Simply acknowledge it and set it aside. It will be there when we're done, but for now, be present, here in this moment, present with the sound of my voice. And now, close your eyes against the light, not to shut it out, but to guide your vision inward, to follow deeper and deeper in the spiral of self until you find that bright and brilliant, glimmering spark that is the core of you, however you experience that, whether it is merely a feeling, a sound, a scent, whether it is literally flame or the darkness at the very edges of creation, a name you only remember in dreams and barely dare to claim in the waking world. However that internal core of you manifests, seek it down and down and down until you find yourself in a focused, sheltered space where you have a strong sense of where you are, everything that you are, and the boundary that surrounds that. So you know where you end and everything else begins, and you can hold that out. Keep everything beyond you, away from you in this moment, and simply be in yourself. In the same way that you checked in with your body, check in with this calm and centered core. When was the last time you felt this? When was the last time you were simply you, not pulled by your obligations, not distracted by the world and its noise, or people asking you to be something that maybe you're not, or asking you to be something that you totally are, but right then it's too much. All of that is closed away with walls that could be a fortress, or walls that can simply be a gate. First, experience it as sheltered as you need it. Quiet, internal, shielded from anything that would pull you away from you. What's that like? Have you been here before? Does it ache with a familiarity because it's been so long? Be present. Now, the next step of our journey, if you need to stay in your centered space, that is entirely fine. This is a healing space, and you may need to be here without any further complications. But if you feel up to it, turn your attention to those boundaries now. The ones that I said can be a fortress, hard, impenetrable high walls that cover you in a perfect sphere. Or as you will it, openings appear where you can look out into the world beyond you, the vastness of space, and see that there are so many other glimmering lights, hearts and minds flung across distance, each of them unique and whole like you, with a boundary they can hold if they wish, and ways in which they reach out and connect. And as you become aware of that ability to connect, Look at your own connections. Become aware of this vast and glimmering webwork of light that is strung between you and everyone else, gleaming across the distance, closing the miles between you and all of those other hearts and minds. These filaments are eternal and unbreakable. We share emotion and dreams and thoughts, all kinds of information singing across the lines. Some of this we pick up passively. We can't help it. We're so enmeshed. But when we reach out with intention, we do so with a request. We do so with permission, with consent. We reach out to communicate to those who hold our heartstrings, those with whom we have deep and unshakable connections. Pick a few. Which ones call to you? Some are bold and brilliant, and you have trod them before. You know exactly where they go. Some are so faint, like spider webs illuminated in the mist. There's answers there, dreams to explore. Allow yourself to spider out along these connections. Become expansive. Your core remains centered, protected, but your attention can go everywhere, as far as you will it. Be as big as you want, as big as you're able. And feel that expansiveness, and feel how your ability to stretch out across this is supported by the very connections themselves and all of the other points to which we each connect. All of us support one another simply by being present in this moment. Whoever's on the other end, friend, spirit, animal companion, a place, something you've only visited in dreams, whatever shape this intelligence takes, reach out and ask permission. Can I connect? Can I know you more than just the star that I perceive on the other end of this glimmering light? I have things I would like to share with you. What do you have to share with me? Are we both okay with sharing? Energy, support, emotion, thoughts. You set the limits, as do they. We are greater than the sum of our parts. And when we are comfortable sharing what we can, we support one another. If you've been in a position where you have ample things to share, whether it's a lot of emotion and support, whether it's energy, pure vitality, whether it's insight into the end of grief, reach out across the connections and make your offering. State clearly how much you are willing to give. Remember that your boundaries are your choice. If something doesn't feel comfortable, you can retreat, you can close off, you will be safe. Remember also that this is an offering, not something you force upon anyone. It is each person's choice, each being's choice, what and how much they accept. So allow for that as well. And allow for the fact that this is something that happens over time. We are here in this moment, and this moment is recorded. And in the same way that distance is surmounted, we also reach across. There is an echo of this power, of this energy that we may be sharing with people as they revisit this. Account for that. As you let yourself surf the brilliant lines between us. As you let yourself give and receive as much as you are comfortable with, enjoy that feeling of expansiveness. What does it remind you of? What does it do for you? Allow yourself to be everything, everything you are. Touch the potential of your being, knowing that you still have this core, safe and sheltered, that you can retreat to. And as much as all of us would probably love tripping these lights for hours, losing ourselves, zipping from space to space, and becoming acquainted with everything, every being, whose song we can hear, whose soul we can feel. Pull yourself back to that centered, sheltered space where the core of you resides, where you are you and only you, where those boundaries exist that allow you to close yourself off or protect yourself or remain open enough to still get echoes of what's all around. Retract back in, pull your power back, spiraling down and winding in until once more you feel calm and centered and wholly yourself. Those lines of light and connection are things that you can travel at any time, a highway we all carry and walk at all times. It's just simply that the physical world can be very distracting. For now, be in your centered space. Hold what you've touched, what you've shared, what you've been given. Sit with that a moment. Reflect. Feel how that freedom feels. How all of us benefit when we are free and given our choice to give or take as we need, to share as we need, always with permission, liberated, brilliant beings. From your calm and centered space, come back up, come back to your flesh. It has as much value as that other space. We inhabit both. Neither one nor the other are better or worse. They're simply different. They're different aspects of how we interface with reality. So come back to your flesh and don't hate it. Even if it doesn't work the way you want, even if it doesn't feel or look the way you want. Be in it. Be present. You carry that glimmering spark in this. That's amazing. That makes this thing work. It'll continue when you leave this behind, and you'll probably get bored and pick another one up. And there's so many things you can do with it. Touch. Kiss if you're able, if you enjoy that. Eat chocolate. Hopefully we all enjoy that. I know I do. If you're having trouble disconnecting and letting those connections go and coming back from the centered space, physically touch your body. Reacquaint yourself with what it feels like to be in it, to be present with it. And remember, you can always go back, and we are greater than the sum of our parts. We have passed this way before, and we will pass this way again. We have been many things to one another: teachers, lovers, friends, and bitterest enemies. But through it all, we have remained tied together soul to soul in this, our ancient family. May we endure together peacefully. May we enjoy each new lifetime as it comes. May we strengthen each other as we strengthen ourselves, and may we find one another in every time and in every place to share this fellowship and to celebrate this bond. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that this is now Juneteenth. Not that that's new for many people, but it's new on a national level if you're in the US. There's a day of Black liberation, and I think many people may be at a loss as to how to celebrate that. And while I don't want to dictate to you how to do it, for myself it's a day of reflecting on what our history is, how we treat people, what that has done for us and to us, and what we still need to do for all beings, for all of us, to be liberated until all are free, none are free. Thank you and good night.